Let me introduce you to the people who bought in 2021 and 2022. 2021 and 2022 were the most intense housing market years in modern history. Remote work exploded. People fled cities. The Sun Belt boomed. Austin, Phoenix, Boise, parts of Florida. Home prices went up 20%, 30%, even 40% in some markets over just 18 months. And a lot of people bought into that peak. They weren't doing anything crazy, they were just buying a home. Because that's what you do. You save your down payment, you find a place you can afford the payments on, and you buy. The problem is that some of those markets have now given back a significant chunk of those gains. And in specific cities, Texas oil towns, parts of the Mountain West, Greenville, Mississippi, some Florida markets, prices have declined enough that the people who bought at peak are underwater. Let me walk you through what that actually means in dollars, because this is where it gets real. You buy a home in 2022. Purchase price $350,000. You put 5% down. That's $17,500. You take a mortgage for $332,500. Now, you're in a market that has declined 10% since you bought. Your home is now worth $315,000, but you still owe approximately $330,000 on your mortgage because you've only been paying it down for a couple of years, and most of those early payments are interest, not principal. So let's run the math. Your home is worth $315,000. You owe $330,000. You are $15,000 underwater. But wait, it gets worse. Because selling a home isn't free. Real estate agent commissions, closing costs, transfer taxes, that's typically 6 to 8% of the sale price. On a $315,000 home, that's $19,000 to $25,000 in transaction costs. So if you're $15,000 underwater on the math alone, and you need to bring $20,000 to cover closing costs, you would need to write a check for $35,000 just to get out of this house. $35,000 out of pocket to leave a house you already paid a down payment on. That's not an option for most people. So what do? They stay. They can't move, they can't upgrade, they can't downsize, they can't take a job in another city. They're locked in. Not by a low interest rate like the lock in effect we've talked about before, but by negative equity. This is a completely different kind of trap. And it's silent because these people are not in distress in the traditional sense. They're making their payments, they have jobs, the bank isn't calling, nothing is on fire, but they are stuck. Now let's talk about the group where this gets even more brutal: new construction buyers. When you buy a new construction home, there's something that happens the moment you close. The home loses a layer of its value, kind of like driving a new car off the lot. Not because there's anything wrong with it, but because the resale market values it differently than the new construction premium you just paid. In 2021 and 2022, builders were charging peak prices, and buyers paid them. Sometimes $400,000, $450,000, $500,000 for homes in markets that have since softened. Now, those same builders, in order to keep selling, are offering $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in incentives on new homes, rate buy downs, closing cost credits, price reductions, which means the buyers from 2 years ago are looking at new inventory being sold for 10 to 15% less than what they paid. Their home has depreciated on two fronts: the market declined, and new construction comps are dragging values down further. Zillow estimates that somewhere between 10 and 15% of buyers who purchased in declining markets in 2021 and 2022 are now at negative or near zero equity. That's not a small number. That's potentially millions of households. I want to pause here for a second because I'm curious. If you're watching this, do you know someone in this situation? Maybe even yourself? Someone who bought in the last few years and is quietly wondering if they made a mistake? Drop a comment below. I read every single one. Okay, let's keep going. Here's the thing I want to be really precise about, because I know some of you are going to hear, underwater mortgages, and immediately think 2008. And I understand why. But this is critically different. In 2008, people couldn't make their payments. The subprime crisis was built on loans that were designed to reset at higher rates that borrowers couldn't afford. Add in massive job losses, and millions of people were forced into foreclosure. Today's underwater homeowners, the ones we're talking about, can make their payments. Their loans are fixed rate. They have jobs. Their situation is not a crisis of ability to pay. It's a crisis of mobility. That distinction matters enormously. It means we are not headed for a wave of forced selling and price collapse. But it does mean the market stays frozen. These households are removed from the supply side of the equation. They can't list. They won't list. And that contributes to the inventory shortage that keeps prices from falling more than they already have. It's actually a stabilizing force, but at the cost of millions of households who are effectively paralyzed. So, what does this mean for your money? If you are one of these people, if you bought in 2021 or 2022, and you're in one of the declining markets, the first thing I want you to do is get an honest assessment of your actual equity position. Not what Zillow says today, not what your neighbor sold for 2 years ago. Call a local real estate agent. Get a real comparative market analysis. Find out where you actually stand. Because the worst thing you can do is operate under the assumption that you have an asset you can tap, when the actual math says you don't. Second thing, do not make panic decisions. If you're making your payments comfortably, you are not in a crisis. The market will eventually move. Rates will eventually come down. Time is not your enemy if you can carry the payment. Third, if you have a life event coming, a job change, a family need, something that might require you to sell, do not wait until you absolutely have to. If you need to move and you have even a small amount of equity left, getting out now is better than waiting until you have zero options. Here's what to watch. Don't watch national data for this one. The national number, flat at $368,000, tells you almost nothing about whether you're sitting on a time bomb or not. What matters is your specific market. Go to Zillow or Redfin. Pull the home value chart for your zip code. Look at the trend over the last 24 months. If it peaked in 2022 and has been declining since, and you bought near that peak, you need to do the equity math I just walked through. The other signal to watch: days on market in your area. If homes are sitting 60, 90, 120 days before selling, that's a market where buyers have leverage. That's a market where prices are vulnerable to continued decline. The longer your local days on market trend climbs, the more likely that any price pressure continues. One final thought before I tell you what's coming next. I want to acknowledge something. The people we talked about today, the ones sitting on these silent losses, they did everything right. They're not reckless speculators. They saved their down payment. They qualified honestly. They bought within their means. They played by the rules. And the market moved against them anyway. That's real. And it's worth sitting with that for a moment. Now I want to show you something that genuinely surprised me. Because for everything dark in what we've just covered, the time bombs, the negative equity, the people sitting on losses they don't know about, there is a group of people making real money in this frozen market. They're not doing what you'd expect. In fact, they're doing something that goes against almost every piece of conventional wisdom you've heard about real estate. That's the next video. If you want to make sure you don't miss it, subscribe. Every video in this series builds on the last one, and episode 7 is the one a lot of people are going to wish they'd seen sooner. I'll see you there.